Hello, everybody. My name is Arzuma Compaore, and I am a graphic designer, a computer guy, tech guy, whatever you want. And I'm also somebody who's been, working with Animate, what usually used to be called Flash in the past, for quite some time now. And I can tell you that it is one of the most powerful software out there that you can use to do many things. So if you're just getting started, don't worry. We are pretty much going to cover everything, from the basics to advanced scripting and authoring. So this very first lesson is just a quick peek into Animate for you to kind of like see what we can do with it. So if you like, you can just relax and then just watch what I'm doing, and then later on we'll be able to come back and to see all of that into details. So for our first lesson, we're going to actually go into what Adobe Animate can do for you. So, all right. So, like you can see, the main interface of Animate is pretty much what we see in every program. You're gonna have all the menus on the top. You're gonna have the file, the edit, the view, insert, modify, windows, and all that. Pretty much, the file menu will always allow you to kind of like identify where you can save your files. You can export some of the file and all of that. Okay, so in this demo I'm actually gonna go pretty fast. I don't want to make sure that we kind of like have a quick overview, but don't worry if you don't understand anything. We'll be able to come back to it a little bit later. Okay, so I already dropped this here. So we always start with the stage area here. So in this stage, I have a couple of graphics that are actually inside this stage, as you can see. So if you go here in the bottom here in the timeline, if I unload here, you can actually see that those graphics disappear right now. So I can actually just take that away, so you guys can just understand. Here you go. And then when I go to actually, I'm gonna try to change this a little bit here, so does not bother me too much, to be able to show you guys what's happening here. All right. So all those panels that you see on the right and on the left, you're gonna see that, like, for example, if I click on my dad here and I go here on the property, it actually tells you a little bit of what my dad character here has. Right next to the property here, you have the library, and really it's where you're going to store all the Flash contents that we have, right? So that's where it's here. So what we're going to do for this first animation is actually add something in this, so you guys can kind of like see what's happening. And if we look in the library here, there's actually a file called the library portrait, and as you can see, it's really a portrait of the dad with his folks, but he's gonna be the main character anyway. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come back to my timeline here, and I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm gonna call that layer, I'm gonna call that portrait. All right, and then in the portrait layer, I'm gonna make sure that that portrait layer is selected, and then I'm gonna drop my family portrait right there. Okay. So now to do our quick animation, we're gonna use that part here. All this part, this timeline here, is to choreograph everything that is gonna happen to the inside the animation. So I'm gonna go a little bit around the frame, let's say 70, and I'm gonna add what we call a frame, right? So if I select all the frames here, and then I can go inside the insert and then go to timeline and then say keyframe, right? So now here you can see that I have two different images now. So I have two dots here. Those dots represent keyframes. right? So what I'm going to do too now, I'm going to make sure that the what we're going to do, we're going to start with a close up, and then from the close up we're going to be able to go to a more wider shot. So first thing, I want to make sure that I can see where's my stage, right? So like you can see when I disable all the graphics here, all the layers here, I can actually drop in what we call guides. So if I click on the top here, and I can drag it down here, I'm gonna have a first guide here. So that's gonna help me know exactly where is my stage, so I don't go past that. Okay, so I'm gonna just create 4 guides right here, and those guides just help me know exactly where is my stage at this point. So I can see this is my stage here right now. I'm gonna just do a quick lasso selection, like you see here, and on the left side here you have all the different tools. You're gonna have the selection tool, the transform tool. I'm gonna click on it, and you're gonna see all those dots, square dots around it, appearing around it. And now if I select this and I hold shift, and I can actually resize the whole thing, right? So the goal, like I said, is to start on a more like, close up type of situation, meaning that I'm gonna start, with the daddy talking to us, and then from him being done talking to us, we'll go to a wider shot. So you can already see in the bottom here in the timeline that I'm doing the change on this image, right? The first dot, even though that dot is replicated all the way till image 70, when I click on image 7, actually 69, when I click on image 70, it's actually showing me the first image. So that image is not resized, and this one is resized, right? So keep in mind that our stage is just this one, and it's not the whole screen. So you guys want to make sure that this is what you're working with. Okay, so very important to know that. All right. So that is going to do a couple of exercises. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start by having that, I'll start doing, different kind of exercises. So first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my library here, and I'm going to actually look for my dad. So right now, I have daddy here, who is is the main dad, that the main character that we created here. Make sure that you stay in the that image here. Pay attention to where the playhead is at. The playhead is that blue line, that blue stick with the long line going all the way to the bottom here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually duplicate that, because I want to be able to do a couple of that. I want to have daddy stretch, I want to have daddy squash, and I want to have daddy do some jumping jacks. Okay, that's the 3 main exercises that we're going to have daddy do today. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to actually quickly and easily go inside my library. Like I said, remember, I'm going to duplicate that. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to call it, knee bends. Okay. And then I'm going to see that. So you see that knee bends just appeared here. Then I'm going to go back to that. I'm going to do another copy again. I'm going to duplicate. And this one's going to be called jumping jacks. Right. And then I'm going to duplicate that one still. And then I'm going to call that stretch. So now I have all my dad stretch, dad knee bend, dad jumping jacks that are right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the dad knee bend. And how I change this is I'm just going to double click on that dad that is right here. Basically, this opens up a new timeline inside the main timeline, right? So with the arrow that I have here, if I click back, it brings me back to the main stage, the main scene, right? The scene that I started working on. But every element inside here actually has the ability to have inside itself different or multiple timelines. So daddy here that we have here is actually a different daddy that is in our library here, but he still has the same component. So I'm gonna open up Daddy knee bend, and that's what we're gonna work with. So how does that work? When you look at Dad, I can see that Daddy has a timeline, and there's actually quite a few layers that are right there. Now, what do I have? I have Daddy, who is standing straight from this, from 1 till 9, he's standing straight, and then at 10, he's gonna have just a band, right? And then from here, he's gonna go back to his original position. So basically, like you already know, animation is nothing else but a series of images, still images that, because they're played like continuously at the same speed, creates the illusion of movement. This is really what we are going to do, but we're going to use a technique called twinning in Animate. Twinning allows you to actually create all the intermediate images that are in between two keyframes, right? So that's what we're going to do now. Yeah. So like I said, it's something that needs more work, but we're not gonna spend too much work on that. Just want to make sure that you get what I'm trying to do. The idea is really what it is. Okay. So we did that for the first, and then I'm gonna do the first thing, and I'm gonna create another right here. So now we have a going back and forth Daddy, right? All right, cool. So that's really what we did. We did the jumping, the dad's knee bend. Now we're gonna do the stretch, right? So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna double click on the dad right here, okay? And then I'm gonna create a new set of keyframes. So let's work on that first scene that we talked about, right? So right now we have the close-up of Daddy who needs to talk to us, right? We're gonna add a new layer. Actually, I'm gonna bring that all the way on the top here. I'm gonna call that Dad's voice. We can actually use a different preset of audio file that were already created by this awesome tutorial that was made by these guys, and they recorded this voice of this daddy. He's actually saying something. So I think he says it's right here. That's exercise. Okay, so he says, well, I think we are going to be doing some exercise. We better warm up. So I think it's, that's what he says. So let's make him do just that. I'm gonna select the keyframe here, and then if I go to my property, like with the layer Dad's voice selected, and I select the first frame right here, now I can go right in the property panel right next to the library panel here, and I can go in the select panel, and I can see there's a list of different audio files that I might want to use. Here I'm going to select the DAD exercise file, and what I can see right here is that now I have waveforms appearing, so telling me that actually I have the sound here. And when I drag it like that, I can actually hear what is happening. So just kind of fast forwarded everything here real quick to kind of like make sure that everything works. So what we actually did is we made sure that our buttons are well laid out, and that we have everything in our timeline that is just allowing us to control what that is actually doing. So basically what we did is we told Animate to every time we click on the knee bend button, we want Daddy to knee bend and to activate, to go and play the clip, the timeline inside the Daddy knee bend that we created, that we animated ourselves. And we did the same for the jumping jack, did the same for the stretch, and we also included another button to tell Daddy to stop, so we called it take a break. So as you can see, our timeline, we actually have labeled different area zone. We call this area of the waiting zone, we call this one the knee bend zone, and then the jumping jack, actually I should rename this one jumping jack, because that's actually what it is. Jumping jack. And then the last one is the stretch, right? This the side stretch. So in between all of that, we added a couple of code, we added some action script in there. And what this is doing is here we actually telling Animate to stop the animation. So what we did is we included a button here. So if you look here, we are at the action frame 130, which is exactly where it is, right? So if you look on hit, you can either go to window and open up the action panel, or you can hit the F9 button on your keyframe in the keyboard, and you can see that there's this action, this code, it says stop, which means it's just stopping everything. The playhead, that blue thing here, is just gonna stop, right? Every time we are going to click on the knee bend button, so this button here that we created, so we gave him the name, we gave him a name, we called him knee bend underscore BN for knee bend button. And every time we click on it, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go to frame 130, 149, 142. And if you pay attention, the 130, 142 frame is actually where we started, where we included our knee bend dad, right? So that's our knee bend area. So we told him to take the playhead and to go here and to play the animation, right? So what it does, it comes over here, and then when he reaches 130, 142, he plays the animation. So now that we are done, setting up this whole animation, now, we tested it, and then we see that it works. Now it's time to actually publish it. There's a couple of ways to do that. And remember, when you publish your movie, especially when it's interactive like this, most likely you are going to be using a web browser, meaning that you're going to go for a program, a platform that allows you to actually load this project, this Flash document that you produced, right? So basically, you can get into the publishing settings, and you can actually decide where you're gonna send this file to. So basically, the default is going to be where you created the project file, the .fla file that you have. That's where Animate is going to create the Swift file. So basically it's a flash document. So the Flash player would allow you to play a Swift file. So you can go ahead and look for that that path and find it, put it there. And also you're going to see that there is a wrapper around. So there's a HTML wrapper that allows you to actually load your animation into it. So you can either select that. You can also create it as a GIF image. You can select a JPEG. The only thing, because it's a project that we created that is interactive, that has some animation in there, and it requires you as a user to click on it, we are going to pretty much utilize either a Mac projector or a Win projector to kind of like test it. So I'm just gonna hit publish, and then now he's done publishing all of that. And then now if we go to our window, we should be able to actually test it out. So if you go to your folder where you created this, where you had the project before, you can have you're gonna see there's a couple of files there. One of the files is probably going to be called Dad's Workout. It's a Swift file, and basically it requires you some particular programs to be able to run it. You're gonna also have the Dad's Workout exe, which is it's a program basically that is gonna load, and that you can actually put on the DVD or on a flash drive, so people can actually load it and play. So it's like, let's say you created a game, that's where you would, that's how you would make the game available for people. They can either launch it directly, or you can create a whole set of packaging for that application to be installed on your computer. So that's pretty much what it is. As you can see, the Dad's Workout app is gonna come with a couple of stuff. If you're running it on the Mac, it's gonna create a whole folder called the name of the project, .app, which is gonna have all the elements that you need to play this file right there. So that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you. There's a lot that we didn't talk about, but in a quick nutshell, I wanted you to be able to see what you can do with Flash. It's a very powerful program that allows you to incorporate some interactivity, some design, some graphic design, some you can create movies, you can create games, you can do a lot of stuff. So this is just the beginning. I don't want you to be overwhelmed too much. Just wanted to give you a quick overview. If you try to follow along and you could not, that's fine. In the next lessons we'll be able to come back into all the fundamentals, so it's gonna make more sense, and step by step you are going to be able to do the same thing. Okay, so that is it for today. See you next lesson.